But that would be great, having a trigger to make the web object even more powerful so that you control when it shows up. You can control the number of seconds before it shows up, but that's also relying a little bit on web latency and some other stuff. Whereas if you had your own trigger, that would be absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, definitely. That would be very cool.
And I know Dave Anderson from Articulate is listening. Hopefully, please write that down and submit it.
Would be good.
That's right. If we keep saying his name, maybe we can get him on the show.
He promised he will be on as soon as he's on.
I think one of the other nice things about Articulate as well is the fact that because it integrates so seamlessly with PowerPoint, you have such rich drawing and animation tools available within the PowerPoint environment that it took me a while to really get to grips with it as far as understanding why I needed to go down that particular route as well as Captivate. But there's just so much functionality that's already present in PowerPoint that you can take advantage of for eLearning.
Now, do you think the eLearning suite should have included Fireworks?
Yeah, I would like to have seen Fireworks. The other thing I would really like to see as well is Illustrator. I would love to see Illustrator integration.
For the free-form drawing and everything?
Yeah, exactly. Because the way in which you can just bring smart objects from Illustrator into Photoshop and then tie that in with Captivate as well, I think would be awesome, to say the least.
Though keeping in mind that a lot of the Captivate developers tend to be not one-man shows, but they're not graphic artists per se. So so that's why I thought Fireworks would be a good choice, because it's a little bit easier than Photoshop in some respects.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I think the problem is that when you're looking at developing content, especially UI design, etc., you can of course do it in Fireworks, but in some senses it's easier sometimes to do it in Photoshop because you have more functionality.
Right.
But having said that, I used Fireworks for many years and loved it, and again, fought quite hard, if you recall, in some of the pre-release stuff and forums to try to ensure that Fireworks was something that they still considered integrating. And it's interesting to see the way that seems to have been integrated a lot now with the whole Flex-based workflow.
Yes, it's interesting. That because of all the way it does its rollovers and everything, it can easily create buttons, and so that makes sense for Flash, because it can just pop it in real quickly and it works.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see things just simplified in the whole of the eLearning suite, though. So, for example, creating buttons was made a lot easier. Adding interactions was made a lot easier. Building your preloaders didn't require you to have to go into Flash and start tweaking action scripts, and even building your own play bars, etc. is very difficult.
And Leva was telling me about Rod and Tristan Ward's new widget API. And I didn't realize they had done that, so I'm going to go look it up, and she gave me the links to it. It allows for a much easier working with widgets. Captivate 4, the widgets were horrific. I mean, it was just a pain in the behind to get them to work, and the code wasn't well written. It was buggy. So I guess they created a Rod. I think Rod. Well, Rod.
Yeah,
but I believe Tristan was the one who developed the API. That's his son. Which I didn't realize he had a son doing this. That's great. All in the family. And we should probably get Rod on the show or Tristan and have them talk about the API and really teach us a little bit about what they're doing in order to develop more capabilities within Captivate. Terrence, I don't know how much you've had a chance to play with this, but Captivate supports widgets, which which are Flash-based components, but they have a specific API that's needed in order to communicate with Captivate. So you can extend the power of Captivate quite a bit through widgets. So if you're a Flash programmer or have access to a Flash programmer, you can really develop robust applications with all sorts of multimedia and Flash capabilities, and then tie it right in and have a two-way communication between the widget and Captivate, which all of a sudden brings it to a much more developed or high level. But again, you need the Flash knowledge in order to do that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the widget that Rod and Tristan created, the drag and drop widget, is something that's just set the community on fire, because we've wanted drag and drop functionality integrating into the program for many, many years now. And their drag and drop simple question widget is phenomenal. And it's amazing what you can do with that particular widget. It's really powerful. to say the least. There is another API that you might want to have a look at, which is called CP Gears, and that's being developed by another Flash developer.
Is that the one out of Montreal?
Yeah, that's the guy.
Leave told me about him too. So there's good stuff. I mean, this is stuff that, again, good competition and good products to make our lives as developers just that much better.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the big things though with the whole widget-based framework is that, you know, commercially, is it viable for the developers to invest the amount of time that's required to build some of this functionality?
Right.
I mean, when I worked at WebAssist, you know, one of the big things was the fact that extensibility is a great thing to be in, but is it commercially viable to spend as long as you have to developing this particular functionality to make it cost effective?
It could be, but there's not really a widget marketplace yet.
No, there isn't. And
that would be
you know,
a good thing to start.
Rod and Trist. Say again, sorry.
That would be a good thing to start.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, I know that there's lots of stuff on the exchange, and Rod and Tristan, again, have just done some superb work, to say the least. Whether or not they can recoup is a different matter.
How much are they charging for this, or is it a freebie?
I think it's about $25 US. It's something like that.
It's very reasonable.
Very, very reasonable. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's round about that sort of price range. I can't remember exactly.
I think I'll probably buy it this week and then recommend that they up the price to 100. But
yeah, I mean, it's an amazing piece of functionality they've put together. But again, you know, how much are people prepared to pay for additional functionality? And this is why I'd like to see a lot more functionality.
I think professional developers are. However, I don't know how much end users are. It's hard enough for them to get budget sometimes to even buy the Captivate or whatever else they're buying.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, anyway, unfortunately, it's after 11 o'clock over here, and I do have to run. I've got some proposals to finish up, and unfortunately, just a lot of work today. So, again, Mark, it's been a pleasure. Glad you could make it today, and even the post-show was actually as good as the show.
Yeah,
so,
it's a shame we didn't record it.
Yeah, well, this is being recorded.
So on Justin TV.
It's on Justin TV, and we're going to move this to YouTube later on today. So you'll see this on YouTube on the Adobe Captivate channel.
Awesome.
So it'll probably be in about 5 or 6 parts, but that's okay.
Mark, it was a pleasure meeting you.
Likewise, Terence, and I shall be continually looking forward to more of your articles on the Solutions Magazine website. I love that site.
Sounds good. Hey, guys, we'll talk to you later on then. Have a good one.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Take care, guys.